What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Planetary Reviews, and I'm here to talk about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Now, for most of us, this game has been a little bit on the side because of it's all of the stuff they've been letting out about the game, seeing some of those faces, seeing the roster. This game has been under a lot of scrutiny, but does it end up being able to be at least a fun game and worth buying? Well, let's talk about it. First thing I'm going to say is the story. The story to this game, to me, wasn't anything special. It was a really generic story, pretty much about Ultron Sigma wanting to get all the all of the Infinity Stones, and he wanted to get them together and be able to pretty much take over the world. And that's pretty much it. There's more detail than that, but I don't want to spoil it. But it's pretty much that. There's nothing to it. It's a very dull type of story. The voice acting is really something that I did not enjoy. There was only 2 voice actors that I thought were really trying. And in my opinion, that was Dante's voice actor and Iron Man's voice actor. And they weren't even too amazing. But at least with them, I felt like there was some enthusiasm. There was some really good. They were trying. They were really putting in effort, especially the guy who voiced Iron Man. He really did sound like he was trying to portray Robert Downey Jr.'s version of Iron Man, which I gotta commend him for. He tried really hard, but everything else kind of fell flat on that point. The voice acting was not that good. The story was very predictable, and if you are not great at fighting games, especially like the Marvel versus Capcom games, you might have some trouble, and you might want to lower the difficulty, because beware, it is not an easy story to play through. I am not that great at these games, so if you're new to this series, you might want to lower the difficulty a bit, because it will challenge you if you're new. If you're used to this, then you probably won't have a problem, but if you're new going into this game, beware, it is a bit challenging. Also, the next thing I want to talk about with this game is the faces. I gotta talk about it. The graphics themselves, with the way the characters' like clothes look, the environments behind you, that all looks nice. The special effects, that looks cool. All that looks very nice and well done. The thing that doesn't look good is the actual character models themselves. They don't have that good detail on the faces. The people with masks could get away with it. It looked okay. It looked fine. But the people who had their faces showing was not good. There was no emotion to it. They looked very weird. It just looked very bare bones, their faces, especially Dante's face. He just always looked like he was on drugs. He didn't even look like the normal Dante that I know from Devil May Cry. It just looked like someone completely different. I was not a fan of that. And Chun-Li's face was not very well done. And Ms. Marvel's forehead is huge. The way some of these faces look are not good. They could have done much, much, much better. Very lackluster, very disappointing in that aspect. But like I said, the graphics for the environment in the background, the graphics for like their clothes and all that kind of detail, and the special effects, that all look good. But man, those faces are really important in the game. I'm not saying I want them to be like Naughty Dogs or anything, but at least put a little bit more effort into it. I think this mainly was because of the change in graphics design. In Marvel vs. Capcom 3, it looked more like a comic book, which was great. I loved it. That's awesome. They should have stuck to that and just evolve it. Instead, in this game, they decided, hey, let's go with a more realistic looking approach, which in my opinion didn't help them out. They should have kept to the same graphic style. The only difference, enhance it more, make it look a little bit better. There's ways to make the comic book art style look really good, but they just gave up on it, because I like the way it used to look. This new style really just wasn't doing it for me. It just didn't look good on the characters themselves. And like I said, the campaign, if you're really good at the game, you could beat it in like an hour and a half if you're good at the game and you don't lose once. But if you are kind of new and you're not that great, it will take you a decent amount of time, but it's still kind of short. And like I said, the writing is nothing special, very predictable. It wasn't compelling at all. I was not a fan of it. But let's talk about the bright side. I feel like I've been getting a little negative. I want to talk about some good things. The number one good thing I will say is the gameplay. The gameplay to this game is very fun. It's exciting. It's fast-paced. It's simple to get into. It's a very fun gameplay. This game is very fun gameplay-wise. I love it. I'm like, that is really fun, just switching out between your heroes, figuring out how you can take advantage of each character that you're using. It's really fun, especially with the addition of the stones. Each Infinity Stone has its own ability, and it gives you different things you can do when you activate it, which really does change the way you decide to fight online. And speaking of online, that's another positive thing. The online component to this game was very good. I didn't really experience too many problems with it. For the most part, it was always, I went in, got a decent connection, and it was good. It didn't feel like it was always going down. Occasionally I would get disconnected, but I gotta say and commend them, the servers have been pretty good. I haven't suffered any problems with it. It was fine. I was happy with that. But we gotta go to another negative, the roster. While there is a decent amount of people in this game, I gotta say, the taking away of the X-Men really does hinder this game, because I feel like those characters should have been put into this game. There's a lot of people who love Wolverine like myself, a lot of people who love Jean Grey, or the Phoenix, I think they called her. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they called her Phoenix in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. But there are tons of characters that they took out. Like Beautiful Joe was taken out. Like I said, all the X-Men were taken out. I get it. You're trying to put into the spotlight the Marvel Cinematic Universe movie characters. That's great. I understand. You're trying to capitalize on that point. Awesome. I understand. But why take out Iron Fist? He was fine in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. He was a cool character. And now with the Defenders out, why didn't you have him there? Why do you take him out of there? And after that, they could have really took advantage with like people like Daredevil and Luke Cage and stuff like that. Put all the Defenders in. That would have been really cool. Instead, this roster seems very lackluster. There are some fun characters. You're going to have a good time if you're a Marvel fan. You're going to sit there and you're going to be like, that's cool. They have some cool characters. But you're also going to be sitting there, if you played the previous entries in the series, you're going to be like, wow, this really does feel lackluster. Really does. And also because of the fact that right before the game came out, they were already promoting the next DLC characters instead of just focusing on the game, which means, in my opinion, I think they probably have these characters done, but they're just not putting them out yet. And they didn't even have a great roster to begin with, and the fact that you could not play as Ultron Sigma, who's already clearly in the game, the only way you could get him, I believe, is if you got the season pass, if you got the character pack, which is annoying. That is really, really dumb. Why would you do that? Don't hide them behind a paywall like that with a roster that is already kind of sad. Enough on the roster. Let's go to the modes. You obviously have your story mode, you have your battle arcade mode, which is fun, you have your online mode, you have your mission mode, and you have your training mode. All great modes, all really fun to play. Like I said, this game to me did not live up to its expectation. It could have been really good if it just did more, if it would have went the extra mile. Like look at Injustice 2, for instance, this year. That went at the extra mile, really just went from the first game, which was a good game, and then it just propelled it. This game, it feels like Marvel vs. Capcom 3 to me was a fun game. It was a great, solid fighter. But then with this one, they cut down the roster. They just, with the graphics, I felt like they got lazy and it doesn't look that good. The faces are not that great. It just feels like a very lazy and just a money-grubbing type of game. It doesn't feel like a real, genuine product that they cared about. This feels like something they rushed out and they said, hey, let's just make some good gameplay. Here's some character, there you go. It doesn't feel like there was any love in this. The story, like I said, was very lackluster. The roster is lackluster. The graphics are lackluster. The only good thing that really kept me going was the fact that the gameplay is extremely solid and fun, and that the online component is really well done, and it was strong servers and everything. But even with great gameplay, I have to say, with the accessibility, the ease of accessibility into this game is there, but that also causes an issue. You know why? Because the easier and more accessible you make this game, the easier it's going to be for really top tier players to just come in and wipe the floor with everyone, and that's what was happening online. Don't get me wrong, I like the fact that I could jump in and do some cool stuff, and that was fun by myself and with friends casually, but when I would play online against other people, they would wipe the floor with me because they had all these easy things they could do that then they took advantage of, and really was just able to really just make you feel like crap. To be honest, that's really what it made you feel like. In the process of trying to make it more accessible, you made it a little bit more unaccessible to new players, because they look at this and they go, I felt cool when I was playing this by myself in training mode and arcade mode, but then when all these really awesome, great players come in, they're just gonna have an easier time destroying you, which makes new people want to go away. So in a way, the gameplay was done really well, but then in another aspect, it went down. So guys, at the end of the day, this game could have been really awesome. They could have really just propelled the series even higher, but I feel like in this one, they really went down. Like I said, there were some good points, but this is not worth $60. This is not a great fighting game. Really isn't, guys. I am very sad to say that at the end of the day, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite gets a simple C-. If it wasn't for the fact that that gameplay was fun and it had a good amount of modes to just have fun and sit down and have fun with friends, this game could have easily went down more. But that's pretty much what's keeping it at the C- ranking, because of the fact that the gameplay is solid and there are a decent amount of game modes in there to keep you having fun by yourself or just casually with friends. But guys, those are my thoughts on Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Did you guys like it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was better than Marvel vs. Capcom 3? Did you think it was worse? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm really curious to hear what you guys have to think. But my next video will be my next game reviews. Sorry. My next game reviews are going to be the South Park game and Assassin's Creed Origins. As for next movie, I am not sure if I'm going to go see Flatliners this week. I'm going to see if I can make time for that. I'm not really sure, but I will let you guys know. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching as always. Please hit that like and subscribe button. I really appreciate the people who sit there and take time to watch these videos. I'm really loving doing this. I love doing reviews. I love talking about games. I love talking about movies. And I'm really excited about this. And I'm really excited about this upcoming, fall to winter movie time and just game time. So many good things are coming out this year that I cannot wait to talk about. Oh, and also, Star Wars Battlefront 2 beta will be coming out soon. I'm thinking I'm going to do a little bit of impressions when I play, do some gameplay, talk about it. We'll see what happens. But that's kind of what the plans are for the future, guys. But as always, have a great day.